G'day guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to make the perfectly shaped Cobra head for your DIY Cobra punching bag that uses the Kewlus Pro spring. Now the idea, guys, is to try and replicate the shape of a speedball. So this sort of pear shape is what you want. And I've done it here, and I'll show you step by step of how to do this. For the foam, you're gonna need a pool noodle, or I'm using pool noodles because we've got them at Kmart for $2. 5 feet long, 2.5 inches in diameter. This thing is perfect. It's got the perfect sort of foam for the top section, for the head. Now, if you don't have pool noodles in your country, I am so sorry for you guys. You need to find some kind of foam. You can use pipe insulation foam or just foam that you can find somewhere like this. Use it instead of pool noodles. But in my case, pool noodles is the way to go. For the pipe, we're using 3/4 inch pipe. It's a standard pipe. It's about 1 inch, just over 1 inch. It's 1.06 inches in diameter. That's the outer diameter. And it fits perfectly within the Kewlus Pro spring. You need about 2 feet of this. Now, I've figured out that 2 feet is probably the perfect length. It gives you the right amount of reach. So when it comes back at you, it's long enough to reach you so you can try and weave around it. Now, you can shorten it at any time by simply moving it down into the spring. And what that does is actually makes it much faster as you move it down. Moving it up gives you further reach, but it is slower. Keeping the top section nice and light will retain fairly good speed and at the same time give you good reach. So you want good speed, you want good reach, and that's what you want. The third and key component is duct tape. That's what you use to mold this shape, to create this shape. You want the PVC, sort of the stretchy stuff. Here it is, I've got a small roll, and this stuff stretches, it's flexible, it stretches, and it'll give you these nice, smooth contours. Step 1 is to take your pool noodle and cut off a small section, about 7.5 inches for your core, for your bag. Now, to cut pool noodles, it's just using a serrated knife. So just the serrated knife cuts really well. So I'm going to go ahead and cut 7.5 inches. Here it is, guys, and that will form the core of the speed bag. Next, you take a foot, just over a foot of pool noodle. You cut that off and you split it lengthwise with a knife, with your serrated knife. Split it lengthwise so you've got 2 pieces like this. Each one is a foot long. Now take each piece and just cut the edge on a slight angle. So what happens there is you're going to put it around your core, just like this. And then the 2 ends should meet nicely. And then you put tape around it this way. Now here I am putting the tape around. I'm just slowly moving the tape all the way around, applying pressure so that the tape hugs the surface of that section of pool noodle. Once I've gone around a couple of times, I can just cut it off. So you can see the ends have met perfectly and the tape grips it together because this is a stretchy tape. So once I stretch it, it wants to grip everything together. So it's holding that nice and tightly. So here's what I got so far. I've got this section at the top curved around, and I've got a little bit sticking up from the core. So that gives it that nice shape at the top once I start laying duct tape over it. Now I need to do the same with the second piece, putting it around the bottom here and using the duct tape to tape around it to hold it in place. Now as you're taping your tape, it's important to apply pressure so that it holds it nice and firmly in place. As you can see, the 2 ends have come together nice and neatly. And then a couple of rounds around should be sufficient to hold that in place. Okay, so you've got this. The last piece that you need is 18 inches in length, and again, you need to split it and use one of the sections to go around the top like that to form that shape. Now, I actually like to have it slightly up over the top of the sections here. As you can see, it's slightly higher than the center, so it's not centered, and that gives you that pear shape. So I'm going to go ahead and tape that in place. Okay guys, we've got the shape. It's done, and it's that sort of shape. In comparison to the speedball, it's about the same. Now it's just a matter of wrapping duct tape all the way around, and I'll show you how to do that properly. To get that nice rounded shape, the key is how you apply the tape on the final shape. What I've found works best is actually using the tape from the bottom, wrapping it all the way around the top and back down to the bottom, and doing that on different angles of the shape. Okay, so I start from the bottom, I put the tape onto the pipe and I hold it with my finger just like that, and then I stretch the tape around and over the top, applying considerable pressure as I go around and all the way down. Then once I get to the pipe, I just hold it in place and cut off the excess tape. And then just make sure that those two ends are secured at the bottom. Now, don't worry, you will be able to wrap some tape around the bottom as well to hold everything in place. But just make sure the tape is nice and laid out. So now I'm going to go from here all the way across the top to the other side, and I'll just keep doing that until everything is covered. Okay, so I've just done another section, cross section, so you can see I've done it twice now. Now guys, this is fiddly work. It's not easy, but be patient. This is going to give you the best outcome in terms of the shape, if that's what you want. If you just want to wrap tape around it, go ahead and do that. It doesn't matter if you've got lots of tape lying around and you don't care. The only thing about tape is it adds weight. So if you want to keep this as light as possible, use minimal tape. That'll give you the speed. But if you want it to be a little bit heavier, you can apply more tape. Okay, I'm getting there. For the last little sections to cover these little gaps, I'm only putting tape from just about there, so I'm not going all the way from the mast. I'm just going from about there all the way around, and then covering on the other side, the little gap there. I'm going to cover that, move the tape nearly down to the mast, but not all the way to the mast. And I'm just going to cut it off there. So not all the way to the mast, just so I don't have too much tape around the mast. Alright guys, and here it is. I've covered it all from top to bottom, going around like this. So that's made a nice contoured shape. It's not quite the same as the last one that I've done. They never are. It is DIY. The last thing I need to do is wrap tape around the stem to hold all this in place so it doesn't come off. And there you go guys. And this is now a nice light bouncy speed bag. I'm going to put it on and see what it feels like. Whoa, it's nice and fast, as you can see. I'm going to put my gloves on and see what it's like to punch. Woo, it's good. I like it. I like it when it's fast. Yeah, it moves real quick. Now I can make it even faster by moving it down. So now that's going to move even faster. Probably a bit too fast for me. And it still has pretty good reach. Let's move it up to longer reach. So if I wanted this sort of reach, I might need to lower my mast. Let's see what this is like. That actually hit my back. So yeah, overall, I really like this DIY Cobra bag. It's light, it's fast. Now, if you wanted to, you could make it heavier so you retain longer reach, greater momentum. So weight gives it momentum, less weight gives it speed. Whatever you guys want to do, it's up to you how you train. Good luck with the build, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And what that does, that actually accelerates